Guitar 2 is going to point towards the second half of the name of this jam, Duffy's Edge. The second half is referring to the edge from U2, and that's where Guitar 2 has taken its influence from, with its natural harmonics being rung together within the chord, the use of a delay and a big fat reverb, and also the ringing out of the notes, you know, the open strings compared to the way you finger the chords. Watch, and you'll see what I mean. We're going to come in with this natural harmonic to start this melody. Now, while I don't need to play this harmonic, or it's not ringing, because usually that's what happens when you hit a harmonic, it's just the fact that the timbre is there, breaking up the sound instead of hearing it this way, which is still totally cool, but this is even cooler. Now, we are going to ring a G harmonic in a way that it will be utilized, so it does keep ringing as we play something else, and that happens in the second bar. So at the downbeat, you're going to play the first beat, first quarter note, you're going to play that harmonic, then you're going to come in with 2 and, playing this perfect fifth over here on the second and first strings, creating a very cool sounding D sus4. There's no other way that you can play that chord with those timbres. So that's why there's also this big shift, this big position shift. But that does set you up for what's going to happen in the next 2 bars. So right here at 4 and, in anticipation with the open E, is going to set up the sequence of a descending idea that's really just scale steps, but you trick the ear with all these beautiful notes ringing into each other. Watch, you come in with this. So there's E, D, C sharp, and by itself is a pretty neat cluster chord. But you're going to continue that by lifting this D while holding the C sharp. And then when you can't hold it anymore, you're going to come over and catch the A. So you have this descending scale run. E, D, C sharp, B, A. And notice how when I went to the A, the E was still ringing, and now that newly hit B is ringing into the A. And then I complete it with an A sus2 sound from the E left over, and the B, and this A, and the E. So that's very cool sound. I mean, by itself in the track it sounds great. So let's try it. We'll put it here at the downbeat. Let's wait for it to cycle around. Here we go. Notice the delay trails that are there. There's an analog delay with modulation in tow here, and a very deep reverb. It's something, you know, very like the Edge, and it contributes highly to this whole idea because it allows all these notes to even more so ring into each other, creating this huge, you know, timbral, audio sounding sonic nirvana moment. Fun stuff. Now, we got to get into the second half of the lick. This is what we just played here is played over the first 8 bars, which is over the more the tom rhythm, the tom-tom rhythm that's played in the drums. Once the drums kicks into that tighter snare backbeat feel, we are going to come in with a more aggressive part here that matches the D sus4 to D, you know, the larger chords. So what we're going to do is get back to more of a Billy Duffy vibe here. That's the reference name in the first part of this title, and that is right here. Now what right here is a very cool way to complement D sus4 to D. I have an open D string ringing, and I'm playing the 4 here, and then I'm going up to the 5th of D to meet the triad when it goes down to F sharp, so a cool contrary thing is happening. Now, of course, my first finger is leaning over to cut out the high strings, and I don't want to fret the note as I normally would to cut out the adjacent string that's lower, the D. I want it to ring the whole time. And I'm wrapping my thumb over to cut out the low E and A strings, and just coming out and bashing these strings with downstrokes. The second half of it, the 3rd and 4th bar, is going to match up with the A chord. Now the A chord that's being played here is just an open A power chord, so I'm wide open to do whatever I need to do. So I'm going to have the open A ring in here. I'm going to have the 3rd of the chord up here on the 4th string, 11th fret at C sharp. And And I'm going to stay with that 1 and 2 and then make the switch to the next note on 2 and. So 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and. That'll be for the third bar. And then I'm going to come down and just build up the A scale. Or really, A Mixolydian. And start at the 9th fret B and just walk up the Mixolydian scale from 2, 3, 4, 5 with the A ringing the whole time. So the whole part. Very fun to play. Notice that there was 2/16 at the second bar that preceded when I made the switch over to the 5th and 4th string. So after, you know, totally common rock thing to do, or any style for that matter, you know, to come over and just proceed a change with some open strings on the upbeat of the beat that's going into it, the push beat, with just 2/16, da 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 da. So let's hear it with the track all together. As I played the second half, I did something on purpose. I threw in those 2/16 every time to illustrate a point. As cool as that is to do, be very selective about where you put it, because if you put it everywhere, it doesn't sound cool. It takes away from the part. This whole entire sequence, both guitars 1 and 2 and the drums and the bass, all come together because every part is playing strict eighth notes for the most part, and it's just that one instance where you get that change up at the 16th. Otherwise, you have all this very cool, tight eighth note downstroke rockin' playing. And when it all comes together, if everyone has the discipline to do it, it sounds monstrous, and it's a lot of fun to play. And wait to see what happens in Guitar 3. Let's get to that.